General says that a whole bunch, they're really delayed service and the information they're giving is incorrect. That's the basics. Now, I may have extrapolated just a little bit there, but not much. The other issue is bad military recruitment and terrible military housing. But for your constituents who are calling in, trying to get help from CRA on the call centers, what do you think?
Well, I can tell you that in my 2 constituency offices, we've had to move staff from Ottawa to Brockville and Kempville to help support people in my community who are trying to access government services. And so it's not a surprise to hear from the Auditor General what Canadians are experiencing already, and that's that though the Liberal government over the last 10 years has increased the size of the federal public service, and they've also increased the use of outside consultants to well over $20 billion per year, that the service that Canadians are receiving has gotten worse. And that's not just with the Canada Revenue Agency. And as you mentioned, folks who are trying to join the Canadian Forces are having a terrible time navigating the recruitment process, effectively meeting a closed door at a time when we're hearing that we need to increase the number of troops that our Canadian Armed Forces have. So it's a failure of the government when they announce a new plan for recruitment in the Canadian Forces every year. They talk about how they're going to do better with the CRA, but we have more tax collectors, if you will, per capita than any other G7 country. I'm sure of it, and Canadians have never received worse service. And you look at things like the rural top-up that folks in my community were supposed to be receiving from the carbon tax, and Canadians found themselves, people in my community found themselves unable to get answers from CRA, but being told that they owed them money, farmers and folks in my community. So it's unacceptable that we find ourselves in a situation where Canadians looking to access basic services, like with CRA, but are expected to follow very strict timelines, aren't able to get answers unless they have someone working on their behalf. And I have great people in my offices, Alana and Mackenzie and Aiden and Courtney put in long hours to help people get access to those services, and I'm grateful for their work that they do on my behalf.
Military housing, you're a former military member, you're close to base Kingston, many other places that the housing may be a little in need of help.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, well, I raised this during the last Parliament, and it's something I continue to be concerned about. The maintenance deficiency, to put it gently, on base, whether with troops that are living in barracks, they're finding that they don't have hot water, mold, mice, rats, they have broken equipment, unsafe electrical equipment, and any time that anyone escalates these issues, they're met with resistance from the Canadian Forces. This is something that's not only important to address just from a basic standards and employment standard. Again, how are we going to get people to join the Canadian Forces when we're saying that we're going to require you to be on base for your training, or you're going to live here, in between postings, and the standards are unacceptable. What's more is there is obviously not a sufficient supply of on-base housing, PMQs, and again, what are we supposed to expect in terms of recruiting numbers when whether it's single individuals or married individuals with families who are looking to serve Canada in uniform, and they find that there's nowhere for you to live, but if we do have a spot for you, it's going to be moldy, there's not going to be proper utilities for you, and just watch out for the rats. We deserve better. Members of our Canadian Forces deserve better, and we're looking to the government to come good on what they've known about for years and years. Lots of the ministers who are in cabinet today have been there over the last 10 years, and so none of these are surprises, but it does continue to disappoint Canadians.
It's a problem too, my perception, maybe I'm wrong, is that there's so many bad pieces of housing and it takes so long to build. Is the problem just too big to fix in a way, or?
Oh, it's certainly not too big to fix. It's like anything else. You eat an elephant one bite at a time, I think, is the expression. And instead of doing that, they're doing nothing. And so we're getting poor service. We're not getting the recruitment numbers we need, and the troops that we have don't have adequate places to live. And we'll look to see. They've been trumpeting their budget, but we've seen several budgets over the last 10 years, and none of them have addressed these issues that have persisted that entire time. Thanks very much for the question. Have a nice day.
Jumping into CRA for bad call center response for your constituents. What do you think?
Well, there's 30% more federal employees. Has your service improved that much? Apparently not. Also, they're doing a bad job of housing.
Thank you. So we're just asking about AG's report on bad military housing, CRA call centers that aren't helping Canadians and helping with accurate information. As a member of the NDP, do you have any thoughts on that?
Well, I just tabled a petition yesterday around the impact of the cuts to staffing at CRA, the closing of offices under the previous Conservative government. The impact is horrendous. Even our local Legion couldn't get support on a file they had. It took weeks, actually months, before they could get through to CRA. And it took our office getting involved, and even MP's offices are being delayed. So, I mean, every day we're hearing stories about the impact that's having.
Reactions to the Auditor General,
Minister, good to see you.
and CRA and the call centers, sir? Any reaction?
Well, we were ahead of the curve, that's why we put no, you can stay with me. We can do that together.
I wrote you a letter about it, and I also tabled a petition yesterday just saying that it's time to make sure that you hire back the 3,000 people that were cut at the CRA call centers
quite a bit.
and reopen offices like the Conservatives closed, because this is the problem. People can't get an answer when they need it, and it's impacting seniors and people, small businesses. So, Minister, I really hope that you'll acknowledge, and I'll send you the clip of my petition yesterday. I've got some good feedback for you.
I'm always looking for good things to watch in the evening, so I'll watch that this evening before I go to bed.
This is important that
people
get the service.
And we were ahead of the game. You remember the 100-day plan? We didn't wait for the report. We were ahead of the game in addressing that. I'm very conscious of that. We already started the work, and we've made it transparent because we publish regularly, and I'm going to meet the commissioner again this week to make sure that we follow through on that. We want better service for Canadians. We're all on the same page.
What is in the 100-day plan?
Oh.
We've heard many plans with certain lengths.
Well, no, but this is about adoption of technology, streamlining processes, making change also to the tax code. It's a number of things. The people who work there, and I went there for a day on a call center after they're amazing people. We just need to give them the tools. They want to do the best for Canadians, but our tools are outdated, and that's what we're pushing, is that adopting technology, remove there's processes that needs to be improved. And I can tell you, every time we meet the commissioner, we're moving the yardstick to make sure we get there. And it's all transparent because I think they post that on the website just after our meetings to make sure people can see the progress and tell us where we can do better. Écoutez, on doit toujours faire mieux. Moi, je disais qu'on était même en avance parce qu'on avait mis un plan de 100 jours justement pour répondre aux attentes des Canadiens et Canadiennes. Il y a une question sur les processus, sur la technologie. C'est sûr qu'on doit mieux faire, puis c'est sûr que c'est vers là qu'on s'en va. Et c'est une des raisons, vous avez peut-être vu, quand on a annoncé ou on va annoncer dans le budget, la partie où on va faire des rapports d'impôts automatiques. Ça, c'est une des façons aussi d'améliorer le service. Ceux qui auront des déclarations simples, il y aura un système où les gens pourront le faire, recevoir leurs bénéfices de façon automatique. Donc, c'est des mesures comme celle-là qui améliore la vie des Canadiens, puis c'est là-dessus qu'on va se concentrer.
Could I ask you also about Chris?
I'm just, there's something.
Ingersoll,
Oh, yeah.
production has stalled there, and it's now the
Yeah.
entitled. What is your message to the workers there, and also what kind of signal does this send to auto workers in Canada?
Very concerning. Very concerning. I fought for them. I fought for Brampton. I was there at the time when we insisted that Brampton would be part of the package at the time when the company was looking at their activities in Canada. Obviously, Minister Joly is leading the effort in that. We're talking with unions. We're talking with corporate leaders. There's a number of contractual arrangements in place, and we're going to make sure that all these commitments that were made to the government of Canada and the workers and the communities are respected and followed through. So certainly, for the time being, it's sure that one thing they know, the workers, I fought for them then to make sure that there would be commitments with respect to Brampton, and we're going to continue to fight for them. We just need to go to QP because otherwise they complain upstairs.
Mr. Davies, any thoughts about the Auditor General's report on behalf of the NDP today on military housing, military recruitment?
I didn't read the report yet.
The CRA call centers that are just giving bad information.
I haven't seen the report yet, sorry.
Okay.
Yeah,
What
thanks.
should Canadians expect from the NDP debate tomorrow? I guess it's an unofficial debate hosted by the Canadian Labour Congress, but I mean, what is the show about the leader race?
Well, I think it's a very exciting time. We have a chance to reimagine what a strong, progressive NDP looks like at the federal level. I think Canadians are very clear they don't want to have a US-style two-party system, so having a third party focused on the interests of working families is important. So you're going to have really diverse views tomorrow. I think we've got some outstanding candidates who represent different parts of our party, and I'm looking forward to a spirited, creative, and bold debate.
Got to ask you about Cami and Ingersoll. They're losing a product line. It didn't seem to be selling that well, but a product line gone, a factory shuttered is something.
Well, I'm extremely concerned. Our auto sector is just getting hammered. We've lost jobs in Brampton. We've lost them in Ingersoll now today, and of course we have the earlier job losses from General Motors. I think by my count that's 6,000 jobs. And that's only the direct jobs. There's many more thousands that are indirectly affected. I think it's showing the failure of the Carney government's approach. And Lana Payne from Unifor, I think, is dead on. She's saying that it's wrong to be piecemealed by Donald Trump, where they're hiving off steel and aluminum and energy because that's things the Americans want, and not using our leverage, and we're leaving softwood lumber in the auto sector to get hammered. We should not be giving the Americans what they want unless they are giving us what we want. And this unilateral concessionary approach by Mark Carney is clearly not working, and I think he needs to come clean with Canadians. Thank you.